Folks, I'll be sharing my techniques and this technology at these upcoming spaces. Sure hope to meet you there.
Good morning, everyone. Today's Wednesday, October the 24th. This is the Futures in 5. We had a lot of traders get caught flat-footed again. Thinking breakdowns continue to break. And, it's an old cycle of when we are in trending formations, the old spaces tell us, hey, listen, if we break support, it's a place to go short. If we breach resistance, it's a place to go long. In general, that's true, but it's a process, not the first time that it comes into the space. And so yesterday, we were looking at all these support areas, really beginning from about 2730, and we watched it fade quite dramatically, thinking that the charts were going to roll over, lots of memories of the past, when indeed that's not what happened. It came into the support zone, and we did look for a bounce occurring, and that did come, and it was hefty. And it's hefty because of the squeeze action associated with folks being caught on the wrong side of the trade. And so that's going to come in to old support, and then it's going to behave as new resistance. That number is 2751. We're still looking for that number to breach with a higher low. If it breaches, we could move into 2761 and then 2771. So as traders, what do we need to consider? Well, we need to consider that we are holding higher lows. And from the theory of trend from Charles Dow, it tells us, hey, if we have a low and then high and then a higher low, we anticipate a rotation back into this resistance area. If there are enough buyers there, we're going to catch and move to the next level. A lot of us think that what we're in the business of is predicting, and that's not it at all. We're in the business of being swift followers and watching the motion and realizing what's in place as it's happening, and then be nimble. I mean, that's our job. A lot of times we think that prognosticating is our job, and that's not it. Okay, so that's what we're looking at today. Could be pretty messy. All right, let's take a look at the NQ sitting in this space. Same sort of thing, collapsed through the support zones, faded sharply. Look at this level, came down very steeply. We'll put a guide there. All right, but now it's holding what? Higher lows. So here we are in the middle of this compression. This is our volume profile event, right? So we've got about 70% of our motion sitting in this gray area. That's going to be support, 70.79. That's going to be resistance, 70.69. And until we get up and over that event, we're pretty much going to be landlocked, right? What is the chart trying to do? It's trying to recover. And it had a very steep bounce. I heard a lot of people talking about Tesla, about whatever. Listen, hate to give you my secrets, word in quotations, just go back to the monthly Tesla chart and look for support. That's where you buy. If you are a long-term holder of the chart, or you're going to take advantage of a squeeze event, that's where it's going to happen, folks. Yeah, so not surprising at all, as a matter of fact. You're listening to too much news if that caught you by surprise. Anyway, as we move forward, we sit here and we see that we've got to get up over the 7130, 7140 area to have any kind of traction. Otherwise, we are fairly landlocked here. I think a lot of traders have no idea what's going on in the space. So the hands that are going to make money are the patient ones that wait for the edges to confirm what it is that they're seeing. So far, possibility of a stretch into resistance, potentially another squeeze event, moving us a little bit higher into the space, and then a fade. These bounces are still going to catch sellers on the upside. So here we are with the YM holding man, this one really fell. The space really is about 806, really, something like that. And this zigzag pattern is not forming a new leg because it has not moved up enough for that leg to form. Okay, so it's sitting in that space trying to recapture. So what does that tell me? That tells me as it stands, everything that I see in a bounce into heavy congestion is going to be a reversal pattern. That's what we're looking for. So if it gets here and you buy it out of this edge, probably going to collapse fairly quickly off of these spaces. So you want to be very careful about that if you're looking to go long. Better to see it come near the breakout of old resistance or support and then try to hold that level and move up into the big primary resistance area. Here's the VPOC, 307. Probably going to be a region to watch today as well. Taking a look at oil, this one is, wow, looks really bad. It is holding up over this support action. Take a look. Building pressure here, building pressure here. As long as it doesn't lose 66.56, this chart has upside motion. We had the API yesterday, the EIA is today. This is an auction vacuum right here, so we could move all the way up into the space, or we could step down into lower highs. You know, I have some ideas about what's happening here. Not really sure I can talk about it, but especially in a recording, suffice to say, our bounces should lead into resistance zones. And if, per happenstance, we have a draw that is significant in the EIA, we are going to bounce, but those bounces are only going to be into resistance at the first pass. You want to look for higher lows to be able to participate. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be stepping on slippery rocks through dark waters. Okay, taking a look at this. This I find to be very interesting. All right, so here's what we've got going on. Very high breach. Actually, it moved up and over its edges because 41 to 42 was the region that I had there as a prior support zone. It did collapse off of that edge, and as soon as that begins to fade, you know, we've got motion that's giving us, here's a high, here's a low, should bounce back and not get up over here. So what's the moral of the story? Where's everybody selling? Well, they're selling right around here. How big is my stop? 15 ticks or less, maybe 20, okay? And that's going to be the resistance zone. If these guys start fading, we've got another bounce action because a lot of traders trade this one in tandem. Again, holding 1224 is going to be the better bet here. We do have a trigger space off of that 1226 and 1242 for those of us really watching old patterns that come into space. So that has been a profit-taking space. Now it's starting to bounce. If it gets up over all this congestion right here, it's going to be able to hold back into its higher spaces. People are still very bullish about this chart, so you want to be careful. All right, that concludes a very long futures in 5.